Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I am the Brofect One AJ, and this, of course, is my co-host Noah Engelbretson. Noah, and I can be found on Twitter, Noah at and underscore Engelbretson, myself at Brofect One. And thank you so much for listening, following along on Spotify, YouTube, however else you listen or watch. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It does help us out a lot. So, Noah, big news coming into today. Well, I think some good, heartwarming news. I don't know about you, but I didn't play club teams or anything like that growing up. I loved my little league and would play little league ball, fall ball, and spring ball. And every once in a while, I'd make the all star team, go to the summer tournaments, and the 1 year when I was 12. And I was bummed out, not gonna lie, that I wasn't going to the Little League World Series because I remember watching it as a child growing up, always in August, and it was a great time. Um, every once in a while, I still like to turn it on, especially especially when a kid throws not one, but two no hitters. I mean, Gavin Weir from Sioux Falls, what a stud in the Little League World Series. Noah, what are your thoughts on this stud? And do you think he's even going to make it to high school at this point, or do you think they're just going to draft him right out of middle school?
Yes, they're gonna just draft a 15-year-old kid.
Hey,
No, I don't know. It's pretty impressive. I mean,
it really is.
doing that. Yeah, he's obviously heads and shoulders above, the rest of the
Oh my God,
competition out there.
everyone.
However old that kid is, 13 years old or something like that. I don't know,
Yeah, 12,
but
13. They have to be around that age, I believe.
yeah, and it wasn't even just the two no hitters. I mean, he's striking out like 90% of the batters that he faces.
Yeah,
So
unbelievable. Just great
I don't
control
know.
over the ball at this
These other
age.
kids, these other kids just can't even make contact.
And yeah,
It's
I
just
mean, he's
not
had
even fair.
yeah, and he kind of reminds me of this one kid. Well, kind of reminds me in the way that he was dominant. I played with now a pitcher for the Colorado Rockies, Ryan Castellani, for one season. He was like 6 feet tall at 13. Like he was just a stud, and he struck out everyone. Bro, I swear to God, he made my hand bleed when I caught for him a bullpen. Like it was scary stuff he was throwing, man. You didn't want to face him. And shout out to him for making it to the show and doing well so far. But this Gavin Weir kid, I'm going to be looking out for him in next couple years to maybe pick him up in a late round fantasy. You know what I mean? As a September call up for a pickup. So shout out Gavin for making my draft board in 2028.
My 2028 draft board.
Oh sure, dude. He'll be 17. He'll be right out of high school, and he'll get drafted by the Pirates or something. And they're like, here's our new ace. He threw two no hitters in the Little League World Series, three in high school, 15 in college. Dude, this guy's just going to be a no hitter machine. I'm telling you. And no, I don't think this is me overreacting to a 13-year-old kid whatsoever.
All right, I'm glad you feel that way. No, I did see one. I did see one thing. They're comparing his pitching mechanics and everything. It looks a lot like a young version of Chris Sale,
Of course he does.
which you know, good and bad there. Chris Sale, obviously great pitcher, just had his third immaculate inning of his career tonight. Um, Immaculate inning being, striking out a whole side on 9 pitches.
Beautiful.
Pretty, pretty tough to do. Only downside to that is if it was kind of highlighting that if he's throwing like he is, it's obviously works super well. However, Chris Sale in that elbow, man, he's fucked up that elbow,
He has, and that's just kind of
and
as a pitcher though, you kind of just charge that to the game. That's just part of the game as a pitcher. Getting in it young, especially. That's why you can't throw a curveball in little league or anything like that. They want to save that arm for as long as they can. That's why they got the pitch count. They do what they can, but once you get to high school, college, those pitchers will just destroy their arms, man. It's insane.
yeah, Well, it's worth fucking up your elbow if
Oh
you're
yeah,
making millions of dollars in the
100%.
MLB. So,
100%. Even for
power
a
to
chance
him.
to get in
Go
the
for it.
MLB.
Don't hold back.
Yeah, even a chance to get in the MLB, I would destroy my elbow and shoulder and everything if just for a chance to
Yeah, I
get into
mean,
the show.
elbows. Who needs them anyways?
Really, I mean, after you pitch, in a World Series game, I mean, cut my arms off, I'm good to go at that point. um, but yeah, dude, let's talk about a guy that honestly might be facing some injuries this year, unfortunately. Well, to catch everyone up, a lot of teams this week went on a spree just announcing their starting quarterbacks. Some we knew as of Tuesday, such as the Bears announcing Andy Dalton. Woo, freaking who cares? Um, but the player I'm referring to, Trevor Lawrence, with a rough O line. Granted, in the last preseason game, he had a couple rookies in there. No starter, like a couple of the starters not starting, obviously. But that O line is still something to worry about. And Urban Meyer did come out and say that Trevor Lawrence is going to be their starter for the Jags. And obviously, this was coming. I don't know why this is big news, but it's going to be big news because I guess it just confirms that what we've been talking about since this kid was at Clemson. So, are you surprised by this whatsoever? Do you think Minshew is taking a shit now that he knows he is number two, or do you think he's still holding it in?
No, well, this is obvious. I mean, it was always going to be Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence. Um, it was just that, so I don't think this is hardly news. I mean, it is what it is. It was always going to be Trevor Lawrence starting week one. So,
it is. And, I mean, best of luck to him. I really hope that he doesn't get injured because of that O line like Joe Burrow did. Um, it'll be, yeah, good luck to the kid. Another team that named their starting quarterback, it's the right decision, but I am shocked by it. The Broncos came out and announced Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves, as their starter for week one. Noah, I think this is the best move they have made in a long time. No disrespect to Drew Lock. He looked great in their last preseason game and everything, but this is the right decision for the situation right now. This team, as you pointed out, um, is ready to explode. You know what I mean? This team has a solid offense, solid defense. They just need a quarterback that can take them. I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is that quarterback, but I think he definitely gives them a better chance than Drew Lock at this point. Do you think this is the end of Drew Lock? Do you think Drew Lock will get another chance? And Teddy Bridgewater going from here. What are your thoughts?
well, I don't think I ever said the Broncos were ready to explode.
Not ready to
I've
explode. Sorry, not ready to explode,
not.
but not as bad. They just needed a quarterback to be a half decent team.
I mean, they'll be an okay team. I don't expect them to make the playoffs or anything, but I think they're in better position now with Teddy Bridgewater being their starter going into the season than they would have with Drew Lock. And I do think Drew Lock will get an opportunity somewhere else. Just so it seems to work a lot of the time. Somebody will pick him up as a backup because they need, you know, depth at quarterback because their starter gets injured or something like that. I don't know.
True. So, but with that, do you think Drew Lock's time in Denver is done at this point? I mean, they did draft him and everything. They still got him on his rookie deal, so it's really no shame in benching him for another year and letting him develop behind Teddy Bridgewater and everything, and seeing if he can go next year. I'm not sure about Teddy Bridgewater's contract, but I can't imagine he's on more than a 1 or 2 year deal for pretty cheap for a backup, probably that is going to be starting now. Um, do you think he's done, dude? You think Elway's gonna move off him? You think Locke's gonna find
Well,
greener pasture?
no, I wouldn't even sell into Teddy Bridgewater starting the entire season. I mean, if Denver's struggling, they could easily, if Teddy's not playing super well, they could easily go back to Lock. I mean, it's not out of the cards. I think it's totally something that could happen. It's feasible.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I wouldn't even be shocked if we saw kind of what happened with Tua and Fitzmagic last season. Where one quarterback he plays a solid 3 quarters, and then you bring in another guy to close it out. Honestly, thinking about it now, it kind of shocks me that the NFL hasn't developed into kind of a like baseball has an opener and a reliever. You know what I mean? Um, I think it would keep these young quarterbacks who can move a lot in the first couple quarters and get you the yards and everything. But if you need a gunslinger to come in the fourth quarter, or you need a more agile quarterback for whatever reason, I don't think it's a bad move to potentially have a closer of some type, or even just adapting more of what the Saints have done with Taysom Hill and everything. I'm shocked that hasn't been adapted to more NFL schemes. And yeah, we do see Wildcat and everything, but not as often as the Saints do it. I really do think it keeps defenses guessing, and you don't know what's going to happen with the ball. And I think it would make the game a hell of a lot more interesting.
I Interesting, maybe. I fully disagree with the practicality of having a closing quarterback type of thing. Um, no, I mean, quarterback's so important, pivotal in the NFL. You want your best guy out there. You want the best quarterback possible in that situation, game long, the entire
Yeah,
game.
in that situation, you want your best quarterback in that situation. And Tua was not a good quarterback in the fourth
In
quarter,
every
but he threw
situation.
Fitzmagic in there.
That's not at all what was happening. They were just going back and forth. It was more of a game by game thing rather than. And I don't know if you have two mediocre quarterbacks that have very different play styles, I could see that being adapted into like depending on what defense you're going against. But like you're not going to bring in some mobile quarterback to like come in the fourth quarter for the Packers when you have Aaron Rodgers. That just makes zero
So
fucking
okay,
sense.
okay, so that's not what I mean. Okay, let me take that back a little bit. Um, I don't think it should be as taboo for rookie quarterbacks to have a closer come in or someone to come in and take over when the game's a little bit out of their hands. Like, for example, let's say for some reason, let's take the Bears for right now, or let's go even better. Let's go 49ers. Let's say for some reason the 49ers throw Trey Lance into the game. He does pretty well going into the first couple quarters and everything, but the defense starts picking up on his cadence, his count, and everything. And so then they throw Jimmy G in there, completely different cadence, completely different everything, throws off the defense, just like bringing in a new pitcher, throws off a batting lineup.
I just don't see practicality there.
I don't know. I could see it. I could see it. Obviously, I could see it. That's why I'm bringing it up. But I think that's something we should revisit in the future. Um, Other teams that I think we should look out for to announce starters in the near future, probably the 49ers going with Jimmy G. I really don't see them going with Trey Lance whatsoever. They have no reason to. Jimmy G is healthy at this point. Wait until he gets injured because he does seem to be more of a fragile quarterback. Definitely not a diaper quarterback, though, so good on him for that. Um, any other teams you think we should kind of watch out for naming starters or any shocks that you? Well, I mean, I guess we should go to the Patriots. That's really the team that I'm interested in. I don't know about you. Cam Newton being out for 5 days, having Mac Jones come in with the number ones, and as all reports say, looking very impressive. I mean, do you think Cam Newton should be worried at all about his job and about starting the season for the Patriots?
Maybe ever so slightly, but it's still most likely going to be Cam's job for the first. What I'd be worried about with Cam is the missed practice time, and hopefully you don't want to go into week one being rusty.
True, but I think I think everyone's just overreacting to this way too much. We have a whole nother week before week one. Don't get me wrong, missing any practice time this close to the season isn't good, but it's not like he's missing 5 days and he's coming back right before the game or the day of the game. You know what I mean? He's going to be there for week of practice. He's going to be for installing the offense and installing the stuff they're going to run that week. I like I understand the appeal of getting Mac Jones out there and everything, but you have a quarterback like Cam Newton who's ready to go and ready to prove that he is as good as he has been. It's hard to not start him, in my opinion. I think everyone's just looking for a story at this point, this late before the NFL season starts, and this is just nothing.
Yeah, I'm not like too worried about that out there in New England. But one starting quarterback that was named this week that I am very excited for is my boy Jameis Winston.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Jameis Winston announces the starter for the Saints over Taysom Hill. After the performance, the last couple preseason games, it's pretty hard to ignore how good Jameis Winston looks in preseason. Depending on you know what I mean. Of course, it's preseason, as we have said all preseason long. Preseason doesn't matter. So, but he did look good. He was throwing balls better. He wasn't throwing balls directly to the other team, so that's always a good start. Couple touchdowns here and there. I think he'll. I think it's definitely the right choice. It's kind of their only choice, considering how bad Taysom Hill looked. But yeah, I know you have to be excited about this. So what? Over under 5,000 yards passing.
Oh, he'll break 3. I don't think he'll break 5. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say he could easily be in that 3,500 to 4,000 range. Probably not over 4,000, but I like Jameis to throw for about 35, 3,600. A good 30 to 35 touchdowns, and the biggest surprise will be, I think, his interceptions numbers will be down more in the 12 to 15 range.
Oh, absolutely, they have to be. Again, Jameis Winston.
I think Sean Payton's on his. He threw 33 and 30 his last season that he started 2 years ago with Tampa.
Second year or his rookie year?
No, dude, that was like his 4th year,
oh, that was
5th
his
year,
4th year. My bad.
Maybe 4th year. But yeah, that 33 and 30. I think we could see the same touchdown production out of him with a half, maybe even a third of the interceptions. Because I think Sean Payton. It seems like Sean Payton is on his ass about poor decision making, like white on rice. I don't think I don't think Jameis is going to make a lot of those bad decisions, but he's still like we saw in the last preseason game, he's totally capable of just airing it out 50 yards downfield and just throwing bombs.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what that Saints defense needs. They need to establish. I mean, I'm sorry, their offense. They establish the run with Alvin Kamara, and then they just bomb a couple play action passes, couple bombs, and they're looking good. And then suddenly, the NFC South looks a lot more interesting with Jameis Winston as their starter. Definitely has me a little bit more hype on the Saints. I don't think they're going to win the division still whatsoever, but I do think this division got a lot more interesting. I think the Saints got a lot more interesting, and they might not have nearly as bad as a hangover after Drew Brees as many people thought,
Yeah, well, I think the other thing too, a nickname that hasn't been like super popularized, but has been floated about a little bit, calling Sean Payton the quarterback whisperer.
I've heard that one a little bit. Yeah, I've heard that one.
I think that's totally one that's going to stick and blow up if Jameis just is playing out of his mind.
Well, Jameis did say, I believe when he took the deal with his first deal with the Saints, I'm going there to go to quarterback boot camp. I'm going there essentially to learn how to be a quarterback in the NFL. And I mean, yeah, if Sean Payton can prove that can do this with Jameis Winston and have a winning season with him, first year as a starter. I mean, granted, he's been in the system for 2 years now, but really getting those, like splitting the reps with Taysom Hill and everything. This will be interesting, and I think it'll say a lot about Sean Payton as a coach with how Jameis Winston, Jameis Winston can do, to your point. But yeah, there haven't been any other starters named or anything that I'm unaware of at this point, right? Or anything that we missed?
I'm trying to remember if there.
Because all the other ones.
Yeah, I can't really think of any other. I don't think there were any other quarterback battles going on. I think the only ones we haven't like officially heard is, I think, San Francisco and.
But that's not really a
New England.
Though.
But
the 49ers.
I could be mistaken. Maybe they have officially said already. If they did, I missed it. But
same.
I fully expect it to be Jimmy G starting week 1, and Jimmy G against the Lions, which will probably help his stock a little bit because he's got a terrible defense week 1 to go against.
I'll be very.
So if he struggles week 1, if he struggles week 1, I'd be looking for Trey Lance. Not necessarily week 2, but by week 4 or 5, because if he's going to struggle against the Lions defense, we're going to have some issues there in San Fran.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if they do suck against the Lions, or who knows?
And then,
Maybe Dan Campbell out there in Detroit has just been putting out some red herrings on how bad the team actually is, and they're ready to just blow up and destroy everybody, gnaw some kneecaps, and call it a day.
yeah, I don't know. And then with New England, I think Cam Newton has a little bit longer of a leash than Jimmy does in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
I think regardless of how bad performance is, I think Cam Newton's got at least 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, at least.
And if they're floating, well, and as long as they can float at or above 500, I think Cam remains the starter. Now, I don't think Mac Jones takes over the starting job unless they're 2-3 games below 500 at any point in the season. So I would look for possibly Mac Jones not even getting a single start this year.
Yeah, if Cam Newton does good enough, I could totally see that too. However, I do think it is worth noting that regardless of what happens with Cam Newton, the Patriots might have a guy in Mac Jones, and he might fit perfect to your credit, to that system and everything. And he might be a good system quarterback, kind of like Brady was for Belichick. So it'll be
for sure.
Interesting to cover.
I'm just not I'm not sold that he's even 100% even going to get a start this year. I think this, because he's sitting in a position where he needs Cam Newton to struggle to get his opportunity this year. And I don't think Cam Newton's going to blow anyone's socks off or anything like that, but I do expect him to be better this year than he was last year.
Yeah, absolutely. He will be. And I think as long as he doesn't have any time away, any COVID time off like he did this last week or during last season, and stays away from any major injuries, we could see the Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers as a Superman Cam Newton. I would love to see that Cam Newton again. He's a fun Cam Newton to watch.
Yes, I would love to see that. However, I do not think we're going to see him at that level ever again. But if he can even hit 70, 75% of what he was a couple of years into the league in Carolina when they made the Super Bowl, we could have a real exciting New England team to watch. And, Cam Newton could be, at the helm of that offense.
We could, and I hope he does. I hope he is. If anyone is, I hope he is. However, I think I can speak for a lot of us where I say the last thing I really want, though, is the Patriots to do good after getting rid of Tom Brady. Freaking kidding me, man? How is it that Belichick is going to
just start ripping off more Super Bowls?
Bro, not only does Belichick have one, but two. He has 2 starting quarterbacks. One of them just happens to be a rookie, so it's an easier choice to throw the vet in. But he's got 2 guys. He's got 2 guys at quarterback, and his team is dude. Belichick did it. He's all the way back somehow. I don't know how he's all the way back. He is a wizard. I don't know if
because he's the GOAT.
He is.
He is the GOAT.
And you know what? I think he learned from last season. I think he learned he shouldn't let his dog make any picks during the NFL draft. He should make his own picks. And so perhaps that helped a little bit. But besides
he is an evil genius. He is Emperor Palpatine. That is Bill Belichick.
Villain, dude. He really is. He's the Palpatine of the NFL. He's a Bond villain in real life. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Jerry Jones is the Bond villain of real life, if we're going to be real, dude. He did the draft from his effing couple $1 billion yacht. I mean, God, dude. Amazing. He can buy all that shit. But he can't get himself a Super Bowl to save him his life.
Belichick's Palpatine. You thought he was dead and gone for, and then you know what?
And then they bring him back after.
He's coming back.
Just out of nowhere.
The 2020, he's gonna rip off 4 or 5 more Super Bowls in the 2020s just because he can. And then Brady will be retired, and Belichick's gonna be like, look, I got 10 rings, bitch.
No, okay. Okay, who's retiring first, Belichick or Brady? Ah, dude, I don't know. I think Brady. No, I think Belichick retires before Brady.
Definitely Brady.
No, dude.
There's no physical like restraints or whatever on how long Belichick can do his job.
Dude, no. Dude.
Well, I guess I don't know. I shouldn't speak too soon because Brady's obviously getting like blood transfusions on the daily from like healthy 20-year-olds, and that's a secret. That's the TB12 diet. Get blood transfusions from a fully healthy 20-year-old.
Nah, man, it's that avocado
Keeps
ice
you young.
cream and avocado tequila, bro. All the avocados. Not this
Bro, for a
like
fact
shit sir.
that was like Brady's like for a fact that Super Bowl parade thing, that was Brady's like first time drinking in like
Oh,
3 or 4 years.
first time in a long time. He never celebrated like that in New England. Belichick would have killed him. Belichick would have killed him if he
Yeah,
threw
because
the Lombardi.
Belichick wouldn't have let him.
No, no.
That's why like Brady's been all like trying to get all like witty and like cracking all these jokes on like social
Dude,
media
he's
and
been
shit. You never saw
great.
that in New England
He's been great on
because
social
Bill would
media.
have Bill would have been like,
No,
it's like that's not your
not
job,
the
Tom.
Patriot. That's not the Patriot way, Tom. We gotta buckle down. You're the worst quarterback I've ever seen, Tom. Dude, I can't believe they lasted that long together. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. But hey, won a shit ton of Super Bowls, so you really can't blame them for sticking together through the long haul. So
Yeah.
Noah, any other news to look forward to coming into hey coming into the first week of college football, baby. We are here at week 0.
Well,
We love to see it. Yeah, I said
week
did I
zero,
say week
baby.
0? Week 0 is still a week, bro. I'll take it.
Uh,
I'll take it all I can. Anything to
it's
give the
yeah,
DJs?
5.
Yeah, go ahead.
Man, I don't know, just 5 games. I wish there were more, but I can't complain. Can't complain about there being 5 games. They're staggered throughout the day, so we got it. I don't know, probably almost 12 hours straight of just college football. Um, Only one of these games seems like it's going to be exciting to me, and
Which
that
game
would
is
be the
that? Give us the
first one.
teams.
Nebraska at Illinois. I think
Ooh.
that'll be a close game, a fun one. Hopefully more of the games are close than that, but we'll see.
Absolutely. And you can catch our picks for Illinois, Nebraska, and all of college football week 1 and NFL preseason on our other podcast that will still be on this channel. It will be called Degenerate Takes Bets. Yes, that is the most original name we could come up with at the time. Look for a new name to come to a podcast near you. But besides that, we will be back on Sunday reviewing preseason college football week 0 and have a bunch more Degenerate Takes.